Welcome to Half Haunted. This is our Christmas Paranormal special. I'm your host, Candi, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Raji. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, and you, and happy Halloween. Merry Christmas. The TARDIS and I wish you a wonderful Merry Christmas.
The squad wishes you a Merry Christmas.
That's right. Papa Smurf and the gang.
Yep. Rainbow Bright, what? Strawberry Shortcake, what?
Like,
We're going to dive into a fascinating and often overlooked chapter of Christmas history when Victorian England's holiday celebrations weren't just filled with joy and cheer, but also ghost stories. Right up our alley. Yes, you heard that right. Long before Halloween cornered the market on hauntings, the Christmas season was a time for spooky tales. I did not know this. This is going to be interesting. So grab a cozy blanket and a steamy cup of cocoa. I have some tea. Let's explore.
got popcorn.
There you go. Popcorn. I got this tea.
Yeah, water.
There you go. Let's explore the Victorians turned Yuletide into a season of supernatural sagas and why the tradition never fully caught on in America. Right? A Victorian obsession with ghost stories. Victorian England had a unique relationship with ghost stories during the Christmas season, and it was an era defined by rapid industrialization, social change, and a looming sense of uncertainty. Advances in technology, like the steam-powered printing press, made books and periodicals widely accessible for the first time. At that same time, nostalgia for simpler times drew people back to the oral traditions of storytelling, particularly the eerie kind they grew up hearing by the fireplace. Folklorist Brittany Warman explains that the rise of the industrialization and science and the fear of what they might mean added a darker edge to Victorian life. That the edge found its way into the Gothic tales written by authors like Elizabeth Gaskell, Margaret Oliphant, Arthur Conan Doyle, that we all know, who worked to craft ghostly tales just in time for Christmas. Interesting enough, these ghost stories weren't just a pastime for the upper class. They appeared in everything from affordable magazines to luxurious Christmas annuals proudly displayed on middle-class coffee tables. Some stories featured haunted manor houses, giving readers a glimpse into the upper crust holiday life, while others centered on working-class characters, appealing to a broader audience. Let's not forget Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol, published in 1843, cemented his reputation as king of Christmas ghost stories. But it wasn't just Scrooge and Jacob Marley. Dickens edited collections of spooky holiday tales, effectively mainstreaming the genre, or whatever. Thank you.
Welcome.
Genre. Thank you.
Na.
I need some booze. I need some hot toddies to go along with this Christmas story. But
so do I.
Why the tradition faded in America? Here's where it gets juicy. If you're wondering why Christmas ghost stories aren't a staple for the holiday season in America, you're not alone. Despite the enormous success of A Christmas Carol stateside, thanks in part to Dickens' pre-existing fan base, the tradition itself never quite caught on here. Brittany Warman suggests that a part of the reason lies in America's cultural mindset. Immigrants arriving in the United States often viewed their home as a fresh start, one from the free old world superstitions and beliefs they left behind. Ghost stories, with their ties to folklore and mysticism, were seen by some as relics of the past. At the same time, Irish and Scottish immigrants introduced Halloween to America, complete with its own traditions of ghost stories and supernatural themes. Over time, Halloween became the go-to holiday for spooky tales, leaving Christmas to focus on warm, sentimental narratives. The result, while Dickens' masterpiece remained a holiday classic, it became more of a phenomenal rather than a representative to a larger trend. Aside from a single line in the 1963 The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, which mentions both scary ghost stories, the tradition faded into obscurity on the side of the Atlantic.
Wow.
I didn't know that either.
No.
Interesting. The Victorian legacy. In Victorian England, Christmas ghost stories were more than just a pastime, they were a reflection of the times. The era's uncertainty and fascination with the often supernatural, offered fertile ground for the Gothic literature. And thanks to technology advances, these stories could be shared far and wide. One of the most enduring contributions of this tradition is the way Dickens and his contemporaries shaped Christmas literatures as a whole. Seeing forgiveness, reunion, and redemption central to A Christmas Carol became staples of a holiday storytelling. Dickens' ghost stories didn't just spook readers, they also offered moral lessons, a sense of hope, which made them perfect for the season. Even today, a traditional blending of eerie and heartwarming lives on the subtle ways, the enduring popularity of A Christmas Carol, or the occasional supernatural element of modern-day films and books, reviving the tradition. So why not bring back the Victorian tradition of Christmas ghost stories? The season already invites reflection, nostalgia, and a touch of magic, perfect ingredients for a spooky tale or two. Imagine sitting by the fire, the Christmas tree lights, casting shadows, swapping ghost stories with family and friends. It's a way to connect history while adding a fresh twist to celebrations. And for inspiration, look no further than the works of Elizabeth Gaskell, Margaret Oliphant, or even Dickens himself. These stories capture not just the Victorian fascination with the supernatural, but also their holiday spirit. That makes sense, though. Like Charles Dickens, with the three visited by three Scrooge is my favorite. The Bill Murray one was my favorite one.
Yeah.
But that lady hits him upside the head with the toaster. Bam! That was a good one. I didn't know that originally that it was ghost stories, and then when they came over here, they left that behind. They started.
Got crazy. Where is he from?
Right. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, it is a little dark, but when you're not used to where the history comes from, you're like, because is Santa Norwegian? I know he's Scandinavian, but you have Santa world, and that's just a whole nother segment right there on how it's spread out, so forth. So, is it my turn?
It's your turn of Christmas ghost stories.
Christmas ghost stories. Here we go. The legend of the mistletoe bride haunts England's Bramshill house. The legend of the mistletoe bride has been retold for centuries and has taken many forms. While the story's true origin is difficult to determine, many have come to believe its roots are in the disappearance of Lord Lovell's bride. I don't know if it's Lovell or Lavelle, but bride at the Bramshill house in Hampshire, England. Allegedly, Lord Lovell was preparing to wed a young woman related to Sir John Cope, the owner of Bramshill House. That was around Christmas time, so mistletoe hung throughout the mansion, inspiring the wedding party to play a game. The young bride-to-be would hide somewhere in the mansion. The groomsmen would seek her out. Whoever found her first would get to kiss her. So the bride went to hide, and the wedding party sought to find her. However, the minutes turned into hours, and they still could not find her. Eventually, the game turned terribly serious, and no matter where they looked, she remained missing. Not until 50 years later did Lord Lovell, still seeking answers to his bride's disappearance, happen upon a secret closet in an upstairs room of the Bramshill house. Inside, he found a wooden chest sealed shut with a lock. Upon opening the chest, he found the nearly unrecognizable remains of his bride. Hold up. So she ends up on the fourth floor in a hidden cubby thing locked inside a chest.
It's either a fucked up game of hide and seek or a murder mystery. Next on Dateline.
Right. How'd you get in there?
Up the room.
Like, how did you lock yourself in a chest in this tiny room? You know what? Mm-mm. All right,
Right.
we're good. The next one. The Brown Lady of Rainham Hall wanders the passages every Christmas. The Brown Lady of Rainham, oh, that is a hard one to, Rainham Hall, Raynham, has collects visitors and paranormal investigators for hundreds of years. Back in the 1700s, owner Charles Townsend married a young woman named Dorothy Walpole. While they lived happily together for some time in Rainham Hall, Townsend soon became paranoid that his new wife was being unfaithful to him. Eventually, driving himself mad with jealousy, he decided to hide Dorothy away in the hall, telling all their friends and families she had tragically passed. Dorothy was forced to stay inside the mansion, allowed only to wander through its halls. Not long after she perished, never having left Rainham Hall after her husband imprisoned her. Ever since her passing, people have witnessed the image of a woman in a tattered brown dress wandering through the halls, and some of these reported encounters were truly horrifying. One visitor, unaware of the Brown Lady's legend, approached a woman in the hall, only to have her look at him with a glowing face. And where her eyes should have been, there were only empty sockets. Years later, after numerous other reported sightings, a photographer from Country Life magazine visited Rainham Hall to document it for an article. After snapping a photograph of the central stairwell, he saw within the image a hazy silhouette that many believe is none other than Dorothy Walpole, the Brown Lady.
I wonder if that's that famous. Have you ever seen that famous on the stair? Was it stairwell? Yeah, I wonder if it's that famous picture. Remember?
From Jerome, Arizona,
Hold
but
on. I wonder if I
right,
have it.
right. Well,
Do you
while
know
you
that
look,
famous one?
should I read on while you look?
Yeah, but I would be freaked out too. I'd be pissed if my husband. If my
Mhm.
husband had locked me up, I'd be pissed too and haunting the halls forever. But if I think about the stairwell lady, I think it's the same one I'm thinking of. It's a famous photograph, and there's like a hazy thing on the stairwell, and I've seen this photograph before, and I think it's the same one. But go on, continue, and
While you
I'll
search.
fill out the end.
An old Victorian house is allegedly haunted by an eccentric woman every Christmas. One group of ghosts from the Stark family, is that Tony Stark's family? I don't know, has quite a legacy for themselves. The Starks left behind numerous spirits that are now haunting a Victorian home in Ludington,
Michigan.
Michigan. Thank you, Michigan. And visitors have reported numerous sightings, particularly around Christmas. One such ghost, Vera Stark, was well known in life for her eccentricities and seemed to have brought them with her to the afterlife. Those who claim to have seen her ghost say she appears in the front yard of the home wearing only a fur coat and picking flowers. Oh, she nasty. Just as she did. In addition, the ghost of one of the Stark daughters, who suffered a terrible mishap in the mansion's gymnasium, can allegedly be seen walking through the halls of the current owners of the home have even attempted to open it up to a historical tours, but apparently ran into problems. Our spirits did not care for being open to the public and went wild. Okay. I wish I would have known. At least the only reason why is because I was just in Brooklyn this past Tuesday.
That's right.
Alleged antics plague a Brooklyn home during Christmas time. A few weeks before Christmas in 1878, Edward F. Smith was at his home in Brooklyn, New York, when the doorbell rang. He answered the door, but there was no one there. This soon became a nightly occurrence. The doorbell would ring, only for to find no one outside and no signs of anyone had been there at all. Growing frustrated, Smith sprinkled ash and flour along the path to the door, expecting to find footprints to be left behind. But the substances were undisturbed and noises continued. No matter where he and his family stood around the house, the noises remained unidentifiable. Smith and his family were growing more concerned as the doorbell ringing turned into aggressive banging on the doors. Ooh, I'd be pissed. Eventually, they contacted the police. The ringing and banging continued, and still no one was able to identify its source. One night, a brick suddenly flew through the window from outside, even though police officers were standing nearby and saw no one. Although they investigated the home for some time, police were unable to identify the cause of the disturbances. Smith and those who witnessed the strange occurrences immediately concluded they must be paranormal in nature. A headless horseman allegedly haunts Roos Hall every December. Roos Hall, a mysterious mansion in the English countryside, is rumored to be one of the most haunted places in England. Located just outside a small town of Beccles in the county of Suffolk, the mansion has accumulated plenty of ghost stories ever since it was first built in the 16th century. One of the most horrifying stories is that of the Headless Horseman. Many people may be familiar with this legend, but at Roos Hall, it takes on a life of its own. Numerous visitors to Roos Hall reported a man on a horse riding toward them on the road, only to discover that he had no head. Allegedly, on Christmas Eve, the headless man is often seen clattering down the driveway with his phantom coach and 4 horses. And this is only the beginning of Roos Hall's ghostly existence. Other rumors claim that there are strange markings inside the hall known as devil's footprints, and some have even reported seeing a girl watching them from the windows.
Hell no. There's similar stories around here from, remember Dr. Henry Hyatt that we had that podcast about? Yeah, weird shit like that's happened around here too back in the day. I'm like, no. I see some horses that I can't see.
Yeah, you hear them, but you can't hear them.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Devil's footprints, no thanks.
No, thank you. No chair, footprints, nothing. All right, let's see here. The ghost of Sir Geoffrey de Manville and his headless dog roam the streets on Christmas Eve. Oh, okay. The story of Sir Geoffrey de Manville is brimming with political betrayals. He held the title of Earl of Essex and was a prestigious European landowner during the 1100s. Wow, 1100s. Because of his title, right? Because of his, however, let me see here. Because of his title, he had great influence over royal politics at the time. However, when a debate emerged regarding the rightful heir to the throne, he chose the losing side and was promptly stripped of many of his assets and excommunicated from the church. During his excommunication, Sir Geoffrey was slain on the battlefield, but because of his exile, he was not allowed a proper Christian interment, which many believe left his spirit trapped within the earthly realm. Rumors claim that Sir Geoffrey also left a curse on the properties he owned, stating that should they ever be taken away from him, ruin would befall his betrayer, and every 6 years on Christmas Eve, he and his headless dog would haunt the land straight in a red cloak. What? Did I read that right? He and his headless dog would haunt the land straight in a red cloak. Ever since his demise, people who have visited the properties he once owned, particularly Thames Brook Bridge and East Barnet, have reported hearing strange sounds and witnessing the lazy image of a headless dog breaking through the fog, accompanied by a knight full in armor and red cloak.
Imagine that, you're minding your own business. And this dog in this red cloak comes out of nowhere.
Then you turn around.
You're like,
you're not kidding. You don't need to go, oh, what's in this closet near this headless dog and this cloak body? No. You go in the opposite direction of business.
I'm white, but I'm not that white. I'm not going to try to investigate. I like cemeteries. I like investigating, but I'm not that enthusiastic about doing that.
Exactly. A ghost supposedly disrupted a Christmas party in Alcatraz. Alcatraz, the isolated penitentiary located in the middle of California Disco Bay, closed down in 1963. The tales of those who were once held on the island continue to haunt generations of onlookers and visitors. Often referred to as the Rat. Alcatraz has gained a reputation for unexplainable and shocking ghost encounters, and one of the most notable was recounted during Christmas. Back in the 1940s, while the facility was still in operation, the warden at the time, Warden Johnston, decided to throw a small Christmas party at his boarding house on the island. During the gathering, a few of the guards began retelling the story of a phantom figure who appeared before them wearing a gray suit, brim and cap, and sporting mutton chop cyber. Wow. All the guards could do was stare at the ghostly figure in shock. And before they had a chance to move, the room suddenly turned very cold and the fire in the Ben Franklin stove was extinguished. And just as suddenly as he appeared, the Phantom Man.
Yeah, the Alcatraz is known for being haunted in general, the whole
Yeah,
island. I've actually never been on the island, but I've seen it from
right.
the shore.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And the
Real
choppy
fast.
water. Mhm.
Yeah. No
All right.
thanks.
Yeah, I hear you. A Christmas ghost is said to haunt Bastion Square in Victoria, British Columbia. On December 25th, 1890, a disturbing story appeared on the front page of a Victorian newspaper, the Daily Colonist. Just as the clock was striking midnight, ushering in the joyous Christmas day, a misdeed as dark, cowardly, and mysterious as ever disfigured the history of this province was perpetuated. The target, who went by the name of David Fee, was only 21 years old and had been walking to meet his parents for evening mass at the nearby church after attending a costume party. Dressed up in a white clown costume, Fee, is that what we were calling it back then? All right. Fee had just arrived at the corner where the cathedral sat, dressed in a white clown costume. Fee had just arrived at the corner where the cathedral sat when a man burst out from the shadows and aimed a double-barreled directly at him. The man simply said, "You challenged me." And before Fee could speak, the man fired, and Fee perished within moments. Apparently, the man had confused Fee for another man. Ever since that tragic night, Fee's ghost has rumored to roam the streets outside the cathedral as well as his gravesite. Well, that's
That poor man, he was dressed in a clown outfit, minded his business. And another
how many.
man, mistaken identity. How do you mistake a clown and you shoot somebody? It's a clown, unless there's another clown that challenged him. Like, how do you make that make sense? Poor guy, I mean, mind your business, walk in, and
Yeah,
you challenged me. Sir, no, I didn't.
yeah. Well,
Sucks.
all right. I
Yeah,
guess
you
I
got
do.
one more.
Anne Boylan is said to return to her childhood home every Christmas Eve, Hever Castle. Okay, Hever Castle, which nestled deep in the British countryside of Kent, was once home to the Boylan family. Anne Boylan, because she was in the Tudors. Okay, never mind. The most well-known member of the family lived the early part of her life there before she married King Henry VIII. Within a few short years of her marriage, however, Anne was targeted by dissent and gossip throughout the castle, accusing her of everything from witchcraft to adultery. Eventually, her husband formally accused her of these charges, and she was ultimately executed. Whether she suffers from heartbreak or homesickness, Anne Boylan's spirit is said to haunt the halls of her childhood home, Hever Castle. However, she allegedly only appears on one day of the year, Christmas Eve. Rumors persist that her somber specter is seen drifting silently over the picturesque bridge that spans the River Eden in the grounds of the home where she knew much happiness.
One day of
Huh.
the year. One day of the year. Only one.
Yeah, for real. That is wild.
Weird. Interesting. All right. So, up next, a plain highwayman supposedly reappeared each Christmas Eve. In England, one particularly twisted ghost story harkens back to a tragic event that occurred one Christmas Eve in the late teens. There was once a fearsome highwayman known only as Gilbert who would wander up and down the town's main roads. One evening, the night before Christmas, a man and his daughter were traveling in a horse-drawn coach when Gilbert apprehended them. The daughter was able to sit next to the coach, but before her father could disembark, the horses became startled and bolted down the road with the man and his coachman now in tow. The two men struggled to get the horses back under control so they could go back and find the man's daughter. who had been left behind with Gilbert. However, when they arrived back at the scene, she was nowhere to be found. Instead, they saw Gilbert hunched over the ground with a dagger in his side. Rumor claims that once the coach took off down the road, Gilbert revealed to the girl that he was the one who took her brother's life some time before. Thrown into a rage by the revelation, she stabbed him and fled the scene. Local legends say that Gilbert was buried by the side of the road, and every Christmas Eve he can be seen wandering the same road, waiting for the coach with the man and his daughter to pass by again.
Wow.
Man, talk about took the roll.
Mm-hmm.
On the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never know. There's another, it's called Raucous Revelers Are Said to Ring in the Season at the Crescent Hotel. The Crescent Hotel is by far one of the most notoriously haunted hotels in the U.S. Located along the northern border of Arkansas, near the Ozark National Forest, the hotel has been plagued by tragedy and ghost stories since it was first erected in the 1880s. There are different legends and ghostly sightings associated with almost every square inch of this estate. One story to astonish visitors to this day, allegedly 1 year during Christmas time, visitors came to view the hotel's Christmas tree, only to find the Christmas tree and all of its packages were mysteriously moved to the other side of the room. This could have been a prank staged by the hotel staff or a visitor. However, the occurrence was accompanied by sightings of various phantom spirits dressed in Victorian-era clothing, wandering aimlessly around the hotel's dining room. Some said the spirits appeared to be playful. They moved the gifts and the furniture across the room as a joke. This seemingly confirmed when the hotel staff reportedly returned the next day to find everything was back in its place. It's one of my places that I need to visit eventually, so I've heard a lot about this place. This might be an interesting story to look into further, but yeah, the Crescent Hotel is on my bucket list. But
Nah.
prank or not, it's a known haunted place, so I wouldn't put it past it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any crazy Christmas stories personally that you have? Anything wild that you've seen or heard? No birds have shitted on our Christmas. Only Thanksgiving.
Right? No Christmas story whatsoever, for the most part. No, I do not. No,
I don't think so either. I'm trying to think.
No Christmas drama, no Christmas. Nuh-uh.
December's kind of a weird month. This is kind of paranormal-ish, I guess. But I've had two of my grandmothers die in December. December 2nd and December. Yeah, Grandma Lo and Grandma D. Yeah.
I don't remember the month. I just knew one lived near Pioneer Village and the other one lived with you.
Yeah, but the cool part about December, though, is my mom's birthday is the 21st, and then my cousin Abby's the 21st, too. So that's the cool part about December. And of course, my parents' anniversary, my mom and my stepdad's anniversary, is the 24th. So that kind of outweighs the bad of it.
Your Decembers are busy. You have a busy December. So do I. People try to invite me to things in December, and I'm like, unless they're playing ball, it ain't happening. Yeah. It's a busy day.
Other than that, I don't have any ghostly experiences or anything like that.
I don't either.
But yeah, I don't have anything crazy. But thank you for joining us on this journey through the haunting history of Victorian Christmas ghost stories. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to Have Haunted and share it with your friends who love a good story. Join me next time as we uncover more forgotten holiday customs and traditions. Until then, happy holidays, happy New Year, and make your nights still be filled with more cheer than chills. Hey, I do want to tell people, though, we are going to go on a little holiday break. So there won't be some episodes until probably, I want to say, end of January, beginning of February. I'm going to go with February 1st. Will be in more episodes. So watch out for that. We won't have another episode coming out until February.
All right.
Yeah. So
gives people time to eat and be jolly and return.
Spend time with family. Yeah.
And shove that fruit down the garbage disposal.
Yeah. We'll still be here. We're just taking some time to spend with our families and do all that kind of stuff. So we're still around, but we're just taking some time off. So I hope you all have a happy holidays. Happy birthday to Raji, our co-host. Her birthday while we're on break is January 2nd. So
Hangover day.
Yeah.
Day of event sales on buying.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
So I'll wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see you all back in February. Happy holidays. Have fun. Be safe. Be kind.
Happy New Year 2025.
Yeah. All right. I love you.
Love you too.
Talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.